Hey, what's up, guys? It's DSYTCN here today, bringing you something a little bit different. Today, let me start off by saying today I'm thinking about starting a new series. Specifically, it will start in this video, but I just want to kind of talk about it a little bit first. This is going to be my new series. It's going to be the What If series. Basically, where I go over historical events, things that have happened, and pretty much just pose questions as to what would happen if it went the other way around. If America had lost World War II, if we didn't bomb Hiroshima, if we didn't go to war with Afghanistan, if, things like that. So, with that out of the way, um, that this is going to be my new series. Just thought I'd get it out there for anybody interested. There's always that subscribe button somewhere on the screen down below. I don't know. YouTube changes their background so much I don't know where the damn subscribe button is anymore. But anyway, I'm getting off subject. Today I wanted to talk about the moon landing. For anybody that might not be aware, which for whatever reason you're not aware of the moon landing, maybe you know about it and just don't care, maybe you've never been that into it, or maybe you live in another country and you've never really heard about it. Basically, let me just go ahead and start from the beginning. The moon landing happened July 20th, 1969. Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong landed the Apollo 11 spacecraft on the moon. First two human beings to ever step foot onto another planet, and that's what I wanted to talk about today. Just wanted to go ahead and kind of get the little beginning information out of the way. But what I wanted to talk about, and of course, what if series, I want to know what if they had been stranded on the moon? What if they didn't come back? What if they weren't able to come back? Because recently this has been sparked in my head and I've been thinking about it a lot, like way more than I should be thinking about it. I've been obsessing over this for like a week now, I don't know why. But recently I read on AOL that they found Richard Nixon's unread speech about Apollo 11, and basically it was a speech that he had written in case, well, they weren't able to come back, if they were to be stranded out on the moon. And so that got me thinking, really, what would happen? Would they, did the government have a backup plan? Did they have some way to, I don't know, send another team out? I know that sounds ridiculous. I don't even believe it myself. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas, but did they have a second team to send out and save them? Which is very unlikely. Did they have, I know this kind of sounds a little dark, but did they have a suicide option? Was there some kind of suicide option, or did they just leave them there to starve? Just, go through their food supply, let dehydration kick in, let, starvation and all that start up, and just leave them out there. That's what I've been wondering, and I've been thinking, if they had like the suicide option, what kind of ideas would they have had? Maybe they did the old, like from World War II. For anybody that isn't very aware, I'm very fond of World War II. I know a lot about World War II, and one of the things about it was anybody up in the high commands of the Nazi army, generals, majors, colonels, anybody high up in the rankings, if they were to ever be captured, 24/7 they carried a cyanide pill on them. And if they were to ever be captured, they simply take the pill, chew it up, or swallow it, and they die. They slowly die. I don't know if it's painful or not, but that's what they did. Anybody high up in the ranks, if they were to ever be captured, tortured, beaten for information, they carried a cyanide pill. And I was thinking, maybe Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong had that kind of thing going on. Maybe they had a suicide option of cyanide. Maybe they had, something else up there with them to aid in the death process, So, that's what I've been thinking about, and I've also, been thinking about what if, how would this have gone? How would this have changed America? How would this have changed really the world? Because, and again, for whatever reason, if you're not aware, back in the 60s, when this took place, 1969 to be exact, America was in a space race. You can't see me, but I'm doing air quotes, if that's what you would like to call it. I've heard that term being used before. The United States was in a space race with Russia. It was basically not to see who could get the first thing into space, but who could get the first person. Who could get the first person into space and back. And it was pretty much just a race between US and Russia to see who could do it. Who could do it first. And, well, America won that. But what if, and here's where my what if series kicks in, what if that's not how it went? What if Russia had gotten into space first, or, more likely, let's keep it on the historical timeline of actual events. The United States went up there first. They did their thing, but they got stranded, couldn't come back, and died on the moon. What would that have done to the American space program, NASA? What would that have done, to future space travel? What would that have done to Russia? For instance, would that have killed their space program? Like, oh shit, America's years ahead in technology, and even they couldn't bring somebody back alive. We better give up, So, that's what I've been thinking, what if this whole thing didn't work out so smoothly? If they couldn't come back, would we still have our space program? Would we have cut it? Would the government have stopped funding it? Would Russia have ended up winning since we couldn't bring them back? What if Russia also stopped their space program? What if we never got somebody else on the moon? These are all kind of ideas that are bumping around in my head that I've been wondering about. Just how different would the world be? I'm maybe if we hadn't been able to get the men back to Earth, would we have that rover on Mars right now, the one that drew a penis? Would we have the hat? Would we, what would we not know about space? I mean, there's still unlimited amounts of knowledge that we don't know about space, but what would have happened? What would we know? What would we know about, and what wouldn't we know about if it hadn't gone so smoothly? If we didn't come back, maybe there's things that we wouldn't have learned about. There's things we wouldn't have discovered. And yeah, that's basically what's just going through my head on these events. Feel free to look this up. You are more than welcome to, go read Nixon's speech. I'm sure it's online somewhere by now. This was a big thing. I'm sure at least a lot of you should have heard about it, even just a little bit. But, feel free to look up any information. Maybe you guys found something that I wasn't able to find, because I did a lot of research. I did a lot of research, and I really can't seem to find anything on what we would have done if they had been stranded. My guess is they probably had some kind of suicide option, and or starvation and death. That's the most likely outcome. But yeah, feel free, do your research. Come back, leave a comment. Please, if by all means, come back and tell me something that I missed. Correct me if I'm wrong on something. But yeah, this was just things I've been really thinking about, and I really would like to start this series, the What If series, because it seems like a fun thing to interact with subscribers, gain some new ones, kind of just get all your minds thinking, sparking on ideas. What would have happened? How different would the world be? The butterfly effect. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of that. Kill a butterfly in the past, it can dramatically change the future. Well, we're talking about a lot bigger than a butterfly. We're talking about first men on another planet. It's a lot bigger than a butterfly. And how would that have changed the world? What would have happened? So, please do your research, like I've said many, many times. Kind of repeating myself, but kind of running low on time, and just want to get all my facts out. So please do your research. Come back, tell me anything if I'm wrong about something. Add something to this conversation. Let's maybe we can get a few people in the comments. You guys cooking your ideas and coming up with something. See if you can find anything, and I think we could find some really really interesting stuff. I'm definitely going to keep researching it because I'm very, very interested in this entire topic. But yeah, so to wrap up the whole thing, basically, just tell me what you think. Tell me what maybe if you were in charge, what you would have done as a backup plan if something were to happen. And yeah, so that's gonna go ahead and just about wrap it up here. For anybody wondering about the series, if you're enjoying this is probably gonna be probably like a once a week series. I'm not really sure. Maybe every Thursday. I'm thinking every Thursday we could I can make one of these videos about different subjects every week. Maybe we can get something going, gain some subscribers, and but yeah, so if you've enjoyed, which I sure hope you have, I find this extremely interesting, and I hope you do too. I hope I've sparked at least a couple people's thoughts into, researching this, but I'm running out of time here, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up now. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the things, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya, and remember, do your research.